Hello again, friends. This is the journal that I just finished, and this is another one of those projects that I started, oh God, I don't even remember, a long time ago, and got sidetracked. So, and I had been collecting Gypsy, Romney, ethnic ephemera for a long time, and I finally decided that I was gonna finish this now, mainly because I picked up this really cool trim here when I went to Seattle Recreative the other day, and I thought, you know, the journal is bound and ready to go. You just need to decorate the thing. So anyway, so here we are. This is about 5 inches by 7.5, and the spine is about 1 3/4 inches. It's very chunky. I've only really decorated the first signature, so there is room to grow, but it's going to be a behemoth when you've finished adding all your stuff to it. So anyway, here we go. Here's the cover. Ruth Fielding. I think this is from the 1920s, given, I don't remember because I don't think I kept the date, but the graphics and the illustration, the hair and the dress signifies the 20s to me. So here we go. I have no idea where I had this illustration from, but I have been keeping it for a while, and it's got the, I'm gonna say gypsy, even though it's not really a politically correct phrase to use anymore. It's very derogatory, but this is a gypsy theme book because the Gypsies is the title, and everything that I'm putting in here ephemera wise comes from books where they referred to gypsies as they referred to this particular ethnicity, whether it was from Hungary or Italy or Europe or England, as gypsies. They're travelers. They're nomads. A lot like the Bedouin in the Middle East. They don't really have a place. They travel, they're itinerant workers, and unfortunately most of the attitudes you see in the books with illustrations and documentation about them from the 40s and 50s is not very complimentary. So anyway, I thought this was a really pretty illustration and a very colorful illustration of what the caravans that they travel in actually look like. So I've made a little cheesecloth and tag, and this was actually a gift bag, and I like the green, but then I also like the pattern on the other side, so I've turned that into like a frame for it. I had this very colorful kind of bohemian ribbon for a while, not a lot left, but I decided to use the tail end of it here. You could write here. This is some old sheet music that has a very the woman illustrated on the front of the cover is very bohemian type personality, and so anyway, and then so I cut out illustrations that have this is a woman, you can see her caravan in the back, and she's dressed in this bohemian style with holding her baby, and then illustration photographs, old photographs. This is from a series of books called People and Lands, and there were lots of different articles in a multitude of the European books, and so I've saved the photographs and then put them on a journaling card, left the journaling card blank, but then also included what's happening. So this is cooking breakfast on the fire of furs in a gypsy encampment on Epsom Downs. So this is from England. These would be gypsies in England. And then I have included a more in-depth description of what's happening here in this little note envelope. So you can kind of like get the vibe of the time and the people, but maybe I've tried to include some like actual documentation about the way that these people have lived for centuries. And then, so this can be decorated as you choose. These are blank. This was a greeting card that I picked up last week. I liked the beautiful rose. It had some gold in it, which kind of fits with the vibrant colors that the Bohemian vibe displays. So I put some paper on the back and made journaling spots there. This is the border from an old book I have that called Love Will Find a Way. Really beautiful graphics. Again, there's gold in there. This is an illustration from a children's book series called My Bookshelf. Anyway, this is a family and their caravan. This is the dust cover for the book that I have made into an internal page. So as I can see, 1920s vibe. And I bought these little bobbly things at Seattle Recreative last week. This is the paper that I made. It's tissue paper underneath and painted and stenciled over the top. And then I've stapled some colorful fabric to the side. And then there's a tuck spot there. These are things I've made, you know, just collaged a bunch of colorful flower things. I tried to kind of make it colorful because some of this stuff, some of the photographs throughout are not. They're more muted. This is another illustration of a gypsy woman. This comes off. This would be, I've turned this into a journaling spot, you know, and then attached this and this colorful. I feel like these colorful bits of trim would be appropriate to the way that their regalia was when they were during this time. They're dressed in very colorful ways most of the time. So anyway, now I got to figure out how I had this on there. Okay, I think it was on there like that. That's good. So there's a little bit of this trim over here, and then I put trim here. And again, I feel like this could very easily decorate around the collar. Here's another one of those journal spots that has 3 places to write on it. And this is another illustration from the children's books. These are actual pages from the book. This is the Gypsy fortune teller. Oh, this is actually from a different book. That's right. This is the Little Colonel's house party, but it had the Gypsy fortune teller, so I've included that in here. And then this is an illustration from the same series of books that I just glued into here. I've left this exposed because it feels sort of embroidery, and I feel like this would all be highly embroidered clothing. This is just a little, you can't really hear it very well, but little bells. This is a scrap. I turned it into this little stick with the bell on the end. Here's the photograph, and I've done the same thing. This is the Traveling Homes of Gypsy in an English Lane, and then on the back side it gives a more in-depth description of what's happening with this family, or these families, who are travelers in Britain. And here again, and I've decorated this a little bit more. This actually pulls out and has the in-depth description on it. So I was having a little fun one night, trying to do something a little bit more colorful, and then, you know, you could add something to make it a journaling spot on the back. And then this was a story, and I mounted some paper on the back so you could use that as a journaling spot. Here's another beautiful girl, and I've included the little bit about her. Romania. Gypsies are sometimes referred to as Romney, coming from Romania. This is another one of this is more of my painted, stenciled tissue paper. This has got a tuck spot here. And here is, whoopsie, let me unclip that. Here is a song backed on paper so you could journal in there. Tucks in there. And then this is a cute little bead that kind of reminds me of maybe a lantern that they would have had hanging from their caravans when they've settled to. Oh, and then this is an original illustration to the story. This was from another book. She's a fortune teller. I have clipped it in. I've pasted it, I've glued it in. I made it as a card, and then I didn't like it as a card, so I kind of zhuzhed it up a little bit and turned it into something that could be, you know, a card there. So there's that. And then I found, this is another bit of lace that I got at the Seattle Recreative. Here's a tag that I made. Girls of Romania in dresses that are works of art, along with some more fussy cut, and then a more in-depth description of the Romney girls. And I think I just clipped that there, like that. So, and more. This is another illustration on a page, on one of the original pages. And then I've added some paper on the inside to make it into a journaling spot. So there's plenty of room to write, and there's some room to grow. So this is a page that I've actually attached to this. Here's a poem that I've just taped in with washi tape. It could be moved if you chose to, if the new owner chose it to. And then this one, this was actually all on one page, but it wouldn't fit, so I kind of chopped it apart. And I've overlapped it so that it kind of fits over the illustration, so that you can see that they do go together. And then fussy cut some illustrations. And then inside, I've included another bit of, this has some information on the back side. And this has some, this, I mean, listen to this. The wandering Hungarian gypsy, when he does any work at all, as often as not occupies himself in mending the large metal preserved pans of the peasants. I mean, it's just like, it's so ugly the way that they spoke about them. And I don't really honestly know that our attitudes towards gypsies has really changed all that much. I sometimes I lose faith in humanity, because I think that we are still so judgmental about the way that people live. So, okay, here's, this is another, these are from Hungary and the Balkans. There's some, there was some, here's another one of those off-cut pads, and then this is a little illustration that I just have mounted to this page. I read while I was doing this book, because I'm trying to absorb information too, that there's some thought that gypsies originated in Egypt. Now, I don't know that that's true. So here's a beautiful young woman that I love. I mean, I love her shoes. And so I turned this into a tag, and then again included, she's from Spain. So these travelers are in every part of Europe. I don't know that we have any in the United States, but this is another greeting card that my mother gave to me and said, do what you want with it. So I used it. And there's a journal spot there. So this goes in there. And then this flips up, so you could write in there. And so this is the end of the first signature, and you can see it's pretty chunky. And then the second signature is, oh, isn't that cool? This to me, I think, was Spanish music, if I remember correctly. So, she's cute. Doesn't really have anything to do with Gypsy, but I like the vibrant colors. And so this one is essentially naked. And there's plenty of room for you to decorate and, you know, make this your own. Because that's the whole point of junk journals when you buy them, right? I mean, you want something that someone else has made, but you do want to put your own personal stamp on it. So this one has nothing added to it. And then this is the gift. It was given to Bonnie from her mom in 1947. So there you go. So that is my Gypsy book. And once again, thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you again soon. I'm going to be putting this in the shop soon, so have a good day. Bye.